Hello and welcome back. As you can see, I'm outdoors once again. Not feeling quite the same level of joy as I usually feel. As I mentioned before in some of my previous videos, I want to make sure to share myself as I go through different and changing emotions. Right now, the air of frustration, some not restlessness, I guess a little bit of just frustration is kind of coursing through my veins. And as I experience this, I've created a habit of turning my attention inwards, not so much projecting where this comes from on others. I can see the mind wanting to blame and wanting to fix others so that it lines up with what I think will create a sense of, or what I think will get rid of the frustration in me. My mind is playing a story. And at this moment, I feel an enormous sense of gratitude gratitude for all the inner work that I've done in the past, so that I now have this habit of looking in myself instead, because in reality, there's nothing I can do to another person that's going to make me feel good. When things happen in our lives, people do certain habits that we may not be happy with. We tend to hold them, how can I say this? I was going to say ransom. We tend to hold them accountable for our happiness. But that's not where our power lies, ultimately. Our power lies in seeing through where we are being wrong. How can we find our sameness in the other? Can we see that what the other person is going through is something that we've also gone through? Quoting one of the lines that Jesus stated, "Why do you see the dust in your brother's eye when you cannot see the log in your own?" And this strikes home for me right now, because an old pattern of the ego is playing. But luckily, in my experience, I have some distance from the ego, and I can see it trying, and I can feel the pull of it from a distance, which is why I can still smile in this situation. I talk often about a sense of peace that's constantly there, and this sense of peace and happiness comes from the well which I'm drawing from in this very moment. Can you feel on the surface the frustration? But can you also feel the well of peace I'm resting in through the video? Can you see a situation in your life where you're blaming others for why you're not happy? Can you see the truth that you're not perfect as well? And can you see the sameness in that other person? Can you put yourself in that person's shoes, is really what I'm saying. Can you find compassion in your own heart for yourself as well, extending that to that other person that you may be holding accountable? Is it going to help really to blame another person when all of your power lies within yourself? That's the only place you can make a real change, is in your perspective. The situation you find yourself in might not change immediately as a result, but the state inside of you, the current of love that you're blocking, from focusing on the feelings of frustration, the current of love that's you're not allowing to flow. If you allow yourself to see past your own bullshit, can you see that you're, in the end, how can I say this? You're the one that's contributing when you could be helping. Not that you should be turning the blame on yourself. There's nobody to blame. And this brings me to, this goes way beyond a realization. I wanted to make a video on this, and I'm going to merge it into this video here. There's an experience that I had a couple of years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, where let me give you a bit of setting here to kind of. Have you ever heard of near-death experiences? And oftentimes people speak about in their near-death experience that they meet this being of light, and this being of light stands before them and, in a sense, asks you, what have you done good in the world? And then you are there telling all of the goods and the evils that you've done, kind of the judge of your life here as a human being. Have you ever heard of this? And oftentimes people who have gone through this experience say that this being of light that they're meeting in this moment is themselves. Okay, I've met this myself. I have, in the same way you would imagine a rock floating above a pond and then skipping on the water, and in the moment of it touching the water before coming back, it made contact. And in this same manner, during a lot of the practices that I've done earlier, this one extremely powerful one, I touched clearly that essence within myself, and I saw what I really was. I met myself, in a sense, if you want to put it that way. And in this meeting of my deeper, true light being self, I was shown a reality that this Danny, that this being, this 3D reality has. I was shown the reality of this. I'm going to try to explain this to you, and I might lose some of you. Your belief system might jump in. You might not believe me, and that's not why I'm saying this. This may take an open mind, and I'm not asking you to believe. If you want, you can see this for yourself. So what I was shown when I met myself in an instant is that everything I do, everything I say is spontaneous. And when I met myself in this instant, I was shown the well of compassion. I was shown where it is, how I was given the ultimate understanding of how to feel compassion and let love flow for everyone. In that everything a human being does, and this includes all of us, you have no control over. You might think that you make the decision to open the door and turn the handle and walk out the door. You might think that you make the decision to go to a certain college. You might think that you make the decision to, all right, I'm going to get up now. Or the certain foods that you eat. You even might think that you make the negative decisions. Why do I keep doing this? Oh, I'm eating this again. And so on and so on. But what I was shown in that instance of meeting myself was that the human body, and this is what you might not believe, that's fine. The human body is very much like a... Have you ever seen cornstarch on a speaker? Have you ever seen those videos? If not, go on YouTube and check this out, please, for yourself. You'll see that when you put cornstarch on a speaker and then you turn the speaker on at a specific frequency, like a constant humming frequency, that the cornstarch starts to move, and it looks very lifelike. it starts to take on forms, different shapes, and it moves fluidly like an actual being, as if it's alive. And even what I'm saying to you now comes from this same type of reality. The human body and everything you see on the earth, this whole entire universe, okay, isn't only isn't cornstarch on one speaker, but the totality of matter is much more complex than just cornstarch. That is obvious. And the entire universe is held together not just by one frequency, so one speaker, but I don't know how many, but different frequencies. So you could imagine the universe is held together by, let's just say hypothetically, 1,000 different speakers, each doing a very specific frequency, humming at a constant different frequencies. And this has this effect on all of matter. And through time, the complexity of this form that rises from the frequency becomes more and more complex, and is the underlying energy at which all of the decisions you make happen, your movements, everything, including your thoughts. Every thought that you're going to think is completely spontaneous. You don't actually decide what thought you're thinking. You don't actually decide what decision you're going to make based on those thoughts either. It all happens. As Alan Watts said, everything is a happening. I was shown this when I met myself in a clear knowing in an instant. It's very difficult to explain unless you've experienced these things for yourself. I'm here to tell you this, even though you might struggle with it. Okay, this is a reality that you can also see for yourself. You just need to look in with some sincerity, right? Some urgency and a balance between trying and not trying, effort and non-effort. Your balance will be different than mine. So you don't actually do anything. And when I met myself, my light being, I was shown that this light being also doesn't make anything happen, but is the source, if you will, that makes me me. All the decisions that I make, the direction of Danny's life, the reason why I go the way that I go, as far as the positive side, the light, okay, comes from that source, from that other. This is the watcher, if you will, the one who sees everything happening. Okay, this light being is the true me. I say was because it's not clear in my experience as I'm speaking to you now. It's more of a memory, a lingering memory than anything else. But once you've been somewhere, you know you've been there. You can't say, no, I haven't been there. You remember being there. So that's where I'm drawing this from. And the knowing is still there. If you know it takes a left turn and then a right turn and a right turn to get somewhere, the next time you go there, you know where it is and you can find your... So anyways. So no, you actually make no decisions at all. So let me wrap this up and kind of get back to the beginning part of the video. Why I can turn in and look at my own faults and not hold another person accountable for what they do when I feel like they're the cause of my frustration, is that I know that that person, including myself, is just spontaneously acting based on the complexity of their own physical form, and all of the frequencies around them are making us all just act and go through a certain motion. The same way that if you were to change the density of the cornstarch on different speakers, they would all take different forms. And also, if you were to change the frequency that each mush of cornstarch is on, they would all look different. And then again, even if it was all the same, there's going to be no two cornstarch, on the speakers that are going to look the same. So I understand that we're all different, yet all the same. So there's no sense for me to hold another person accountable for what I feel is frustrating in my life, which is why I can ultimately forgive anyone for anything they may do, including myself. Not to say that in the moment of arising, I might not get lost in my anger, but eventually, sometimes, even the most difficult experiences in your life, as they fade, you remember what makes us all human, what makes us all one. You remember certain things that, they might not have meant it really. You come back to yourself. And I guess that's what this video is about, to help people find the truth, the deeper understanding that we're all the same, really. And we're past the time that we should be blaming others and looking at other people and saying, this person did that, oh my God, this person is stupid, why does he do that, and always looking outside of ourselves, never looking in, never turning in and seeing, okay, well, I might feel as though that person is stupid, but what about me? Because that's the only place, once again, that you have any kind of power. You can only change yourself. And when other people see themselves change, or when other people see you change, it gives them the courage, the motivation to change themselves. Okay, not to say you should change yourself in order to change others, but that's just a ripple effect. So it should help to give you the permission to stop looking and blaming other people for things that are going wrong in your life. Okay, focus on yourself. That's the message here. We're waking up now in the world, and it's time to grow up. It's time to let go of petty things, all these childish, immature thought patterns that are not serving us or anybody else anymore. The message is, it's time to grow up. Maturity is not paying your bills and being responsible cleaning your house. Maturity is growing inside spiritually and seeing where you're being, where you're not putting your power where in the only place that it means anything. Maturity is looking in. Maturity is the courage to face yourself, to face your own demons. Maturity is dropping the idea that other people are causing you to feel bad. Maturity is seeing, where can I improve? And finding the courage to take the steps and follow through. Wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.